For most of his run on NCIS, Alden Parker has been the calm center of the storm. He jokes when things get tense, trusts his team, and usually believes the system can still deliver justice. Even when he bends the rules, he never fully breaks them. But the explosive twist at the end of Season 23 may have changed that forever. The finale didn't just shake up the team, it may have fundamentally altered who Parker is. After the shocking death of director Leon Vance and the dangerous chain of events surrounding Wayne Rogers, the series pushed Parker into moral territory that feels far darker than anything we've seen since the Gibbs era. Showrunner Stephen D. Binder even hinted that something has been unlocked inside Parker following the finale's events. That one statement could define all of Season 24. What makes this twist so important is that Parker didn't simply witness darkness, he became part of it. The finale strongly implied he helped orchestrate Rogers' downfall, even if he wasn't the one who ultimately pulled the trigger. The implication alone changes everything. For years, Parker has existed as the anti-Gibbs in some ways. Where Gibbs was emotionally closed off and driven by instinctive vengeance, Parker relied more on empathy, humor, and patience. He felt like a modern evolution of the NCIS leader archetype. But Season 23 slowly chipped away at that identity. It started with his father's murder. That trauma already pushed Parker dangerously close to obsession earlier in the season. Several episodes showed him pursuing revenge more than justice, especially in his conflict with Carla Marino. The team stood by him, but viewers could see the cracks beginning to form beneath his normally composed personality. Then came the revelations involving his mother, Lily, and the hidden truths inside his family history. Those emotional wounds forced Parker to revisit decades of buried guilt and anger. By the time Vance died, Parker was already emotionally exhausted and morally vulnerable. That is exactly why the finale twist matters so much. Season 24 could now explore a version of Parker who no longer believes the law is enough. And honestly, that would make him the most fascinating NCIS lead since Gibbs. The show has hinted for years that Parker possesses a hidden edge beneath his easygoing personality. Gary Cole's performance often masks Parker's intensity with dry humor and warmth. But Season 23 repeatedly revealed flashes of someone capable of ruthless decisions when pushed far enough. The finale may have removed the last barrier holding that side of him back. Binder reportedly compared Parker's transformation to a dog that has tasted blood. That's an incredibly loaded metaphor for a franchise built on federal agents who are supposed to uphold the law above all else. If Season 24 fully commits to this direction, Parker could begin operating in morally gray ways that alienate parts of the team. McGee, in particular, may struggle with Parker's choices. McGee still represents the idealistic heart of NCIS. He believes procedures matter. He believes lines exist for a reason. Parker crossing those lines could create the strongest internal team conflict the series has had in years. Fans on Reddit are already speculating that Parker's coloring outside the lines may eventually affect his authority or even his future inside NCIS. Some theories even suggest Knight or McGee could temporarily take leadership positions if Parker's actions come under investigation. That possibility becomes even more believable because Season 23 removed Vance from the equation. Without Vance acting as both mentor and restraint, Parker suddenly has far less accountability above him, and that absence may haunt him emotionally too. Vance's death wasn't just another procedural tragedy. It devastated the team and created a leadership vacuum that still hasn't been filled. Producers have already suggested the show is not rushing to replace the director role because they want to focus on the emotional fallout first. That means Season 24 could become deeply character-driven, especially for Parker. Instead of simply solving weekly cases, he may spend much of the season wrestling with guilt, paranoia, and the consequences of his own decisions. Did he indirectly become responsible for more violence? Did he betray the principles Vance stood for? Would Gibbs approve of what he's becoming? Or fear it? Ironically, Parker's evolution may also bring him closer to Gibbs than ever before. For years, Gibbs operated by a personal moral code that often existed outside official rules. He protected his people at all costs. He believed some monsters deserved outcomes the justice system couldn't provide. Parker once seemed fundamentally different from that worldview. Not anymore. The season 23 finale almost positioned Parker as Gibbs's spiritual successor in the darkest possible way. Even the implied connection to Gibbs in Rogers's death reinforced that symbolism. But there's one major difference between the two men. Gibbs embraced who he was long ago. Parker still might be terrified by what he's becoming. That internal fear could make season 24 emotionally powerful. Gary Cole excels at portraying restrained emotion, and the writers finally seem ready to give him heavier material. Instead of the reliable leader holding everyone together, Parker may become unstable, unpredictable, and isolated. And strangely enough, that might revitalize the series. Some longtime fans have criticized recent seasons for lacking the gritty, serialized tension of older NCIS storylines. A darker Parker arc could finally restore that edge. Rather than another procedural comfort season, NCIS might evolve into a story about how trauma changes good people. If done correctly, season 24 could become one of the boldest reinventions the franchise has attempted since Mark Harmon stepped away. Because the biggest question is no longer whether Parker can lead the team, it's whether he can still recognize himself when this is over